house, but I'll tell you. Welcome to Warrior Class.
Where the teachers whoop ass, and
And
you will too if you
if you pass.
pass.
Yeah, we're a few seconds behind, well, a minute behind, a couple minutes behind, because as we're getting ready to start, our alarm went off at our house. We don't have an alarm. We got the alarm box still in here from the people that lived in the house previously. Probably should have just totally gotten rid of it, but it just happened to. I'm going to the bathroom. It says something like alarm, fire, alarm, panic, alarm. This thing ain't work. My daughter, Okikiola, the baby, been playing with the thing, just like the sound of the boop boop, pressing the buttons, but it's not active, and it just started snapping off. I'm like, really? Right before the show? So I had to stop it. Otherwise, I mean, it's loud. We've been hearing that all through the show. So,
Well, it's a good thing you got it stopped.
Yeah.
Now you know what to do.
Pull it out the wall and took the battery out. It still was going.
Oh, wow.
And I pulled all kinds of connections to stop it.
Okay.
But got to stop. But peace, everybody.
Greetings, family.
Welcome to new member Carlene Jones.
Greetings, Carlene.
Peace. We're about to get into it. This is the Songs of Revolution and Resistance episode. I was listening to some rap, new rap, and I was like, people always will talk about, well, the new versus old, new school versus old school, and this and that. And listening to all of them, really, the thing that for me lacks, whether it's new or old school, is it doesn't inspire resistance. It doesn't inspire revolution. It doesn't inspire you to get up, get out, and do something.
Yeah, bro.
People say, well, it inspired you to make money. No, it doesn't. It's this rapper bragging about how much money and cars and broads they got and all that kind of shit.
Yeah, bro.
So I was just thinking about that. What song, not just rap, but songs, period, incite us. And it doesn't have to. I mean, I love the Ozzy Brothers, but they only have one song that inspires you to resistance.
Yeah, bro.
Fight the power. But we're going to get into it. Do we have any news first? You got any news for us? Anything happening with you?
I have a lot of jobs. That's what's going on with me.
But I guess that's better than having no jobs.
Yeah, that's true. This is the last day of my fruit feast also for the month of September.
Cool.
I'm happy about that. In some ways. In some ways, I'm I don't know, very pensive. It would take probably a whole episode to go into the many things that I have learned from doing this over the past like year and a half. But I'm looking forward to this episode. I will say that it's been nice, even though I've had a really busy week. It's been nice reviewing, a lot of these songs, and others, because I have some sort of honorable mentions as well. Cool. So, I just want to say greetings to the family, greetings to you, Baba. I'm glad you got your alarm resolved. Shout out to our brother Belay. He's out taking care of his family right now. So much love to him.
Condolences. I mean, he posted it on social media. So I'll say, his stepfather passed, and so he's in North Carolina with his mom, dealing with that right now. Yeah. So We wish him and the family the blessings of peace of mind during this time. And we pray that his stepfather transitions well.
Yeah, bro. Absolutely. And I just have to say, I find that that I have a hard time sharing things about myself, and it's something that I have to just something I have to look at and address. But I actually had something of a major health scare happen with my own stepfather 3 weeks ago. He had a stroke. And, that really, when Bile told me what happened with his stepfather last week, really weighed heavily on my mind. Because he mentions when he posted on Facebook about how his stepfather is one of the best men he's ever known. I definitely feel the exact same way. This is a wonderful man who was a wonderful father to me, basically raised me, with my mom. So, yeah, condolences to him and his family. I know how that relationship can be.
Right. And shout out to stepmothers and stepfathers who have a strong relationship with their stepchildren.
Yeah, bro. Absolutely.
To the point, a lot of stepdads and stepmoms don't even call them their stepchildren; they just call them children.
This step thing is something that I'm just saying right now. Like, this is not something that we ever say or refer to. Sorry, y'all.
Also, the half brother, half sister thing. The way I grew up and the way my mother grew up and father, it's just siblings. It's your brothers and sisters. It's not,
right.
And that's very African because also people could be your, like now they say uncle, but originally it wasn't uncle. That this is every woman, every man in that village that was a good character was your mother and father.
Yeah, bro.
They would help raise you. And even when I grew up,
yeah, we still.
I remember walking down the street, and I had bad vision. I didn't have my glasses on, so normally, you're speaking to everybody. I'm just waving, not really nothing specific. And this one sister was sitting on the porch at the middle of the block. I just, I'm just waving, not saying nothing. She said something, I really didn't hear it. I was something rapping in my mind or something. So I'm just waving. And Miss Massey, who was like the elder of the block, well, not like, she was the elder of the block. She was in her 90s at the time. She said, "You didn't speak to Sue when she said hello?" I said, I waved. She said, "No, you just waving. You're not saying nothing to nobody." She said, "Go back to the end of the block and walk back and speak to everybody." I said, "Well, I can't see. I don't have my glasses." She said, "Well, where are your glasses? In the house. Go in the house, get your glasses, go to the end of the block."
Right.
So I went in the house, came back. I ain't coming back out. She'd been coming over there, and I'd have been in trouble. So I got the glasses, went to the end of the block. I come back and I'm speaking to everybody at that point. And I said, "All right, thank you, Miss Massey." She said, "All right, now go in the house. Don't do that no more." Oh, "Yes, ma'am." So Bile's in the chat. Peace, family. My apologies for not being able to have class today, but I turned in my homework. I should. So we're about to get into it. There are protest songs and there are revolution songs, right? A lot of times protest songs are confused with revolution songs. A protest song like Strange Fruit, from 1939, Billie Holiday's Strange Fruit, if you haven't heard it. That's a protest song. So protest songs, they point out the actions of others, the problematic actions of others, or the problematic situations of the state, or just any place or situation, right? The problems of that place or situation, and that's a protest song. So it points out things, right? There's a big hullabaloo right now about NWA. NWA ruining conscious music. I like NWA's music, but I've long said that myself, to be honest. And Ice Cube's pushing back on that, but you know, if you look at the time when conscious music really died for a while, it was, if NWA didn't kill it, NWA was put in place for us to focus on that instead, right? So their music, but they were, and they said, you know, we're the news of the hood, and I think Chuck D said something similar. Well, the hip hop's the news. Well, the news would be protest songs. Revolution songs are calls to arms. They inspire revolution. They inspire revolutionary violence, and resistance against oppression. Okay. That's really the big difference. You may hear both today, but just know there's a difference.
I was going to say, I think some of mine might be protest songs.
Yeah, for me, I made sure, except maybe one, to post revolution songs, right? A lot of good protest songs out there. I see when David posted, he said, "Strange Fruit written by the man who adopted the Rosenberg children after the state killed their parents." Interesting. I know a couple of songs like "Change Is Gonna Come" that you posted, David. That's more of a, well, not more, that's a protest song, you know. But really, so change is gonna come. Let me think about that.
I was gonna say I gotta mark that off my list then.
Well, no, I was born by the river in a little tent. I was born by the river in a little tent. Oh, just like the river, I've been running ever since. It's been a long, long time coming, but I know. Now I'm gonna tell you. Well, does he really point out the conditions? Let me think. Change gonna come, because he's talking about a change gonna come, but a change to what? I go to the movies, I go downtown. Folks keep telling me don't hang around. It's been a long time coming. I know change gonna come. Oh yes, it will.
I think the thing about it. Excuse me, Bob. I don't mean to cut you. And I was going to point this out about a few of the songs that I chose also is not only, I think, is it the subject matter, but also the climate in which the song was released. You know what I'm saying?
It's always going to point that out, but there are songs of revolution from throughout these eras, right?
Right.
So when Sam Cooke, it's definitely a protest song, but because even when he says, I go to my brother and I say, brother, help me, please. But he winds up knocking me to my motherfucking knees. That's actually the way it went, but it's been softened. I go to my brother and I say, brother, help me, please. But he winds up, now they say, knocking me back down on my knees, right? But originally said back down on my motherfucking knees. So, but in concerts they probably like don't do that. But it's still that's a protest song. But we're gonna get into it. My number one song, if you have been watching Black Power Media on a regular, particularly RSTV, which is Kalanji's show, then you've heard Pretty Fall by Sonny Patterson. That the release date of that is funny. It's a sneak release because Sonny didn't release it. Kalanji did. But she sent him the song where he asked her to use the song. I'm not sure where he heard it. She hadn't released it, and he thought it was released, so he put it on the show. And so I asked, "What's the release date?" He hit her up yesterday. She said, "Whenever you released it," and he was like, "What?" He called her and she said, "I never released the song. You put it on your show. That's the first time it's publicly been released, but they're going to do a special release of that song and others together." But so Pretty Fall for me. Just to check some of the lyrics when she said, "Grandmama used to pray, oh Lord, please save him from the evil snares and all the dangers that entangle." She said, yea, though they walking through the valley of the shadows, just prepare and make them fit for every battle, because I know they're bound to come. Right. And I know they're bound to fall, but in your bounty, Lord, preserve their beautiful. We still surviving off of grandma's prayers, surrounded by the jungle and the lion's den. Tread light, cause these traps is inconspicuous. They hiding right in plain sight, thinking we don't see them. When they linger, look right beneath the surface, then leave a trail of corpses, crisis, prices. Your life a disposable commodity, like living in a fantasy, conditioned to believe that the system even cares, whether selling CDs or walking or driving or reading. Look, they don't even need a reason. It's just your breathing and being black. And it's such a pretty fall that don't seem like we falling at all. It's just a GMO dream where things are never really what they seem. Please cue the violins, tell them just to play me something pretty, cause this gritty city got me screaming bloody murder, right? So that part, this gritty city got me screaming bloody murder. So it's talking about, her bit. And also when her prayer, yea, though they walking through the valley of the shadows, just prepare and make them fit for every battle. Right. So for me, that takes it from a protest song to a revolution song.
Yeah, well.
Because you're praying that they're fit for the fight, and then cue the violins, tell them just to play me something pretty, because this gritty city got me screaming bloody murder. Right. So that's my number one.
Okay. That sounds great. I definitely got to check that song out, Pretty Fall. I guess I'll go. I kind of go with the most obvious one. I didn't even realize that this is the picture that you used, but again, I was thinking about the climate in which this song was released, and also the fact that it gets to a newer generation of people. But I was thinking about the song All Right by Kendrick Lamar, right, and the things that he says on that song that bring certain things to light as far as like police brutality. I realized, now that you're given a distinction between a protest song and a revolution song, that song is probably more on the protest side, though there are some kind of incendiary statements that he makes that, could cause someone to go out and do something. But I chose that song, like I said, because it maybe it's a few years old now, but I feel like it really spoke to the younger generation and the older generation. At that time, it was a pretty popular song. So Kendrick Lamar, All Right, is my first one. Sorry, y'all.
My second one, number two, Talking About a Revolution by Tracy Chapman.
Oh, good one.
And that was released July 1988. That's the second single from Tracy Chapman's eponymous debut album.
And that's a great record.
Yeah.
That whole thing.
The whole album is great. Yeah. Now, this song of Revolution peaked at number 75 in the United States, as opposed to its predecessor, Fast Car, which reached number 6. So I wonder why. Fast Car, 6, and really the song itself, the music is very similar. Both are very similar. But when you're talking about a revolution, that went to 75. It still was just such a great song. They had to put it in the top 100, but a couple lines from that. Don't you know? Talking about a revolution, it sounds like a whisper. Poor people gonna rise up and get their share. Poor people gonna rise up and take what's theirs. Don't you know you better run, 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 run. Oh, I said you better run, 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 run. And David Silver said, is that Chapman a cover of Nina Simone or a different song? You know, I don't know if Nina Simone did that first. She said, cause finally the tables are starting to turn, talking about a revolution. Cause finally the tables are starting to turn, talking about a revolution. So, and when she's telling people, you better run, 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 she's talking about our oppressor. Cause finally the tables are starting to turn. You better run. You know, and said poor people are going to rise up, take their share, take what's theirs. So that resonated strong with me. Even when I was young, that came out when I was 20, and it resonated strong.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So talking about a revolution, that's my number 2.
Yeah, I actually got that because I was quite a bit younger than you, because I'm so much younger than you. When the Tracy Chapman came out. But I got into that album when I was in my 20s also. And it also weighed heavily with me. You know, like I said, there's quite a few songs on there that are great songs, but that one in particular, yeah, that's a great one. Good choice, Baba. And I forgot to read the lyrics I was thinking of for the Kendrick Lamar song. And I just had them pulled up. But I think, give me a second. I'll find it. Because I feel like with this song, like like I said, he said some things that for a major label artist were very incendiary.
Now, Lateef, if you're asking which album talking about revolution, what is it on? It's on her eponymous album. So eponymous, named after the artist. So the album's called Tracy Chapman.
Okay, here, and this is could be a call to arms, but he says, wouldn't you know we've been hurt, been down before, when our pride was low, looking at the world like, where do we go? And we hate po-po, want to kill us dead in the street for sure. I'm at the preacher's door, my knees getting weak and my gun might blow, but we gonna be all right.
Right. Exactly.
For that to be on the radio, and this is prior to, the George Floyd protests and all that, even though we've been in the midst of all of this for all of our lives.
Now, but isn't that the last line?
No, there's more after that.
Okay.
But yeah, it's the end of that chorus, that, end of the chorus there. So that might be what you're thinking of. But yeah, I thought that song was dope for a young person to put out at that point.
Now, I Manifesto, when you said Tracy, what you think about Tracy's fast car, that's because it was number 6 in the United States.
Right.
As opposed to talking about a revolution, which is number 75. But the music, if you listen to the music, very similar.
Yeah,
that's on both.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the next one I'm going to choose is, I know there's going to be lots of, or probably quite a few. I saw B-Lay's list. He had a few of these. I had by Bob Marley. I had Get Up, Stand Up, I Shot the Sheriff, but I'm going to choose War since B-Lay chose those other two on his list. And the reason why I chose War is because he does make a statement at the very beginning of the song. He says, until the philosophy which holds one race superior and another inferior is finally and permanently discredited and abandoned, everywhere is war. Me say war.
That is actually a speech,
right?
I think by Haile Selassie It's either Haile Selassie or Marcus Garvey. I can't remember which one now, but that he took their speech and turned it into a song.
Yeah. And I remember hearing those words for the first time and it putting such a feeling into me, you know, because it that's exactly how it should be, you know, until all of these things are no longer in place. And also given the fact that they're actively making war upon us, we need to be changing our mindset to war.
He doesn't just say everywhere is war. He said, me say war.
Right.
I say war.
Yeah, absolutely.
My number 3 is Nobody Move by Paris. That was released September 25th, 2020. Now, popular and greatly respected for its positive and hard-hitting songs in the early 90s. If you don't know who Paris was, Paris had a very Black Pantherist type of image that he came with. Paris was born Oscar Jackson Jr. He became dissatisfied and he was popular in the 90s, but he became dissatisfied with the music industry and retired from recording. He then became a stockbroker. He worked as a stockbroker, cementing his personal wealth, which allowed him to independently finance the next stage of his musical endeavors, which began in the early 2000s.
That's what's up.
Continues to this day. He'll be 56 in October. He's a few months older than me.
Oh, wow. My birthday's in October also.
Good. There you go.
Libra season.
And so he made this song, and he's always been pretty radical in his music, right? But this one, he did Nobody Move. He's staying true to his brand. So a couple lines from that. 1, 2, 3 is that mad ass sucker free gorilla with the get back. Seems you forgot who you fucking with. Pistol grip, pump in my lap for this. Manish and brandish your mind. Been damaging these off brands lives since 89. Hard truth to your speaking from the booth. From the Bay to Southern Cali, Central Valley. Steady slumping, bumping, I'm on the mic. P-Dog laying in the cut to strike. Apply pressure with aggression. No stressing, but at the same time, contemplating how I could bubble and push my same line with murderous intent. Convince the proletariat to listen, envision. The uprise and the wise eyes open wide. Ride or die, hear the battle cry. United for the fight. Get them. Nobody move, nobody get hurt. Real spit, read the shit, raise fists, keep saying it loud. Nobody move, nobody get hurt. Read the truth, never lose. Keep it moving, steady doing us, proud. Nobody move, nobody get hurt. Back him off us. If it's coughing, then his coughing's getting filled right now. Nobody move, nobody get hurt with that pow, pow, chicka pow, pow, chicka pow, pow, pow. That's Paris.
Nice. I'm writing all yours down.
Back him off us if it's coughing. He's talking about the gun.
Right.
That people call it coughing or barking, right? If it's coughing, then his coughing's getting filled right now. Nobody move, nobody get hurt with that pow, pow, chicka pow, pow, chicka pow, pow, pow. So
beautiful. That's what's up.
And it's fun. That reminds me of a song I made years ago called Chicka Boom. And it's, chicka boom, and my crew saying chicka boom, boom, boom. And we're talking about taking out certain alphabet folks. That's all I'll say on that.
Okay. Yeah. The third selection that I chose is from an artist who everyone says only put out one record, and that's actually not true. It's Lauryn Hill. Lauryn Hill put out 2 records. One of them. 2 albums, excuse me. I'm sorry. Yeah. She put out 2 records. Right. And the one that this song is on is actually her Unplugged, her MTV Unplugged. It's a very underrated recording. If anyone's never heard it, when she put it out, that's when they started the rumors that she was crazy and that, she was unhinged and all those different things. And if you go and you listen to the songs, you'll see why they were trying to sort of discredit her in the public, because of some of the things that she says on the songs. And she does get emotional. But I think when you're going through those kinds of changes in the public eye is so heavy on you, that kind of thing is the least of what can happen, you know? So the song that I chose from that album is called I Find It Hard to Say, which is also known as Rebel. And that song was about what happened with Amadou Diallo and the entire situation around that. I remember her telling the story on the Unplugged recording. She was saying that she the energy around when she made the song was really, really strong, but because the subject matter even scared her, and the fact that she was calling it Rebel made her think that people would actually take it to the streets, you know, when they heard this particular song. It might seem a little silly, you know, because she was I mean, she wasn't really a pop singer, I guess, but she was, you know, an MC. But I think it's interesting that she took herself so seriously that she felt like, you know, she put this out that people are going to listen.
Well, because whenever you have whispers of revolution, right? Rumblings of revolution beyond whispers. Two things states do. They attack and imprison artists because they can inspire revolution, and they shut down all coffee houses. You say, well, why would they do that? Because coffee houses historically have been meeting places of revolutionaries. And so they shut those down and they imprison artists. So for anybody that thinks coffee houses or coffee isn't important, or artists aren't important when it comes to resisting and to revolution, you're wrong. You're wrong in that. Right. So writers, singers, poets,
right?
Those are because it's about pushing the propaganda. You know, all sides have to have propaganda to inspire people to move the way you want them to move.
Right. Yeah.
But artists are the strongest weapon for propaganda. And when I say artists, I'm including journalists too.
Absolutely.
Believe me, journalists are very artistic in their presentation of the news.
Right. Yeah.
All right, love y'all.
The lyric that I wanted to share from this particular song is where there might be considered a call to arms that might cross it over from a protest song by your definition. But says, and while the people sleep, too comfortable to face it. Oh, excuse me. Remember, she's talking about the Amadou Diallo situation. I'm not sure. Excuse me. I think I'm being disrespectful to the audience because there may be, I know we have people who are very versed on, you know, these kinds of stories in our community, but some people are not. But Amadou Diallo was a man in New York. I didn't research the story. I knew it a lot better at one point, but I don't know. I can't remember if he was a cab driver or something like that, or that might be a different person I'm thinking of. But basically, he was shot 44 times by the police. And he hadn't done anything, you know. That's the gist of the story. So obviously, just like with the George Floyd situation and how that, you know, ignited people's anger at that time, that was I think the George Floyd story of that day was Amadou Diallo. So this is what she says. She says, and while the people sleep, too comfortable to face it, his life so incomplete and nothing can replace it. And while the people sleep, too comfortable to face it, your lives so incomplete and nothing can replace it. Fret not thyself, I say, against these laws of man, because like the Bible says, his blood is on their hands. And what I gotta say is rebel. While today is still today, choose well. And what I gotta say is rebel. It can't go down this way. Choose well, choose well, choose well. And again, she says, and while the people sleep, too comfortable to face it, your lives so incomplete, and nothing and no one can replace it. No, 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 no. So the song, when you listen to it, just like, you know, any song, especially by someone a singer who you might love, is very impactful. You know, the things that she says, even down to this day, I think are very impactful. So if you've never heard that song, and if you've never heard Lauryn Hill's MTV Unplugged release, I would suggest that you check them out.
My number 4 is Lauryn Hill's former father-in-law, Bob Marley. I Shot the Sheriff.
Okay.
So Bob Marley wanted to say, I shot the police. Okay, according to him. Now I'm gonna tell you another spin on I shot the sheriff, but the government would have come down on him, he said, and police would have harassed him everywhere. So he said, I shot the sheriff instead, right? But as he said, it's the same idea, justice.
Yeah, bro.
Now, in 2012, so, you know, I shot the sheriff, I didn't shoot the deputy. I'll deal with the lyrics in just a second. But in 2012, though, his former girlfriend, Esther Anderson, claimed that the lyrics, Sheriff John Brown always hated me for what I don't know. Every time I plant a seed, he said, kill it before it grow. Actually, about Bob Marley being extremely opposed to her use of birth control pills. Esther alleges that Bob Marley replaced the word doctor with sheriff.
Oh, wow.
Little of both, you know. So if you think about doctor, says, you know, every time I plant the seed, the doctor says, kill it before it grows. So I shot the doctor.
Right.
Still dealing with revolution, though.
Yeah, bro. Right. That's interesting.
And not speaking on whether I'm with abortion or that's not abortion, or birth control or whatever. I will say, if it wasn't for birth control, I would have a lot more than 9 children that I got. So I can't say I'm completely against it, but yeah, he's talking about, you know, popping the doctor, according to her.
Right.
The lyrics, and you can think about police or the doctor, as I say sheriff in this, but I shot the sheriff, but I didn't shoot no deputy. Oh no. Oh, I shot the sheriff, but I didn't shoot no deputy. Who all around in my hometown, they're trying to track me down. They say they want to bring me in guilty for the killing of a deputy, for the life of a deputy. But I say, I shot the sheriff, but I swear it was in self-defense. Yeah, I say I shot the sheriff. Oh, Lord. And they say it is a capital offense. And he goes on to say, freedom came my way one day and I started out of town. All of a sudden, I saw Sheriff John Brown aiming to shoot me down. So I shot him down. Okay. So that's I shot the sheriff. It's funny. Whenever I think of that song, for some reason, I think of, and the song wasn't in the movie, I think of Billy Jack. If you haven't seen Billy Jack is about this Native American former special forces operator, who returns home, goes to live in, I'm not sure if it's Arizona or Colorado. He goes to live with on the reservation with his people, right? And the white townsfolk, you know, when the people from the reservation come into town to buy stuff and stuff, the white townsfolk, they harass them, humiliate them, and Billy Jack starts whooping their ass.
That's what's up.
He tells the one rich rancher or whatever. He said, I'm gonna take this foot and I'm gonna kick you on that side of your face. And the guy laughed. How can you do that? Remember, so it's from the early 70s. So people didn't, some places didn't know about karate and all that. And he did Hapkido, special forces, and he kicks the dude, bow, and in the side of the face with the outside crescent kick, knocks him down, blue, and everybody cheering. Oh, so this special forces operator becomes like a revolutionary figure and inspires this peaceful compound to start fighting back. Because they start off as kind of pacifistic, and then they decide to fight the power, right? And so they fight back. But it makes me, whenever I hear I Shot the Sheriff, and maybe because I think Billy Jack kills the sheriff in that movie, I can think that.
That's what's up.
And if you haven't seen Billy Jack, watch it. I have the DVD.
Yeah, I need to.
So much, and I was talking to my wife and children about it. So they were, what? So I played in the movie. They, this is great. It's an old movie,
right.
It aged well, though, to me. But yeah, Billy Jack.
Okay.
And I put Billy Jack over any Bruce Lee movie.
Okay. That's it's not that bold a statement for you, but there might be some that might be bold for some certain people's ears. I mean, when you put it like that,
look at the revolution of it, even when they taking them away, I won't tell too much, but you hear in the song, 110 Soldier, go ahead and hate your neighbor, go ahead and hate your friend, do it in the name of heaven. I'll be justified in the end. There won't be any trumpets blowing on that judgment day. On the bloody morning after, 110 Soldier rides away. That shit was cold. I was a little boy like, I'm standing up, putting up the fist and jive.
Yeah,
my father tapped me in my chest. We both got our fists up in the drive-in. So yeah, that's Billy Jack. But anyway, and we ain't dealing with movies, we're dealing with songs. But
right,
they go hand in hand.
Right. Yeah, we got all kind of recommendations. I actually have something movie related too.
Say what?
I have a movie related thing also. So yeah. Cool. But I didn't mean to cut you. Please go. Please.
No. That's my number 4.
Okay. Well, this isn't the movie one that I was thinking of, the one that I'm about to do right now. This is actually 2 songs because I had a hard time choosing this particular artist. He had so many songs about revolution. And then in addition, and these might be kind of unorthodox selections, but he had a lot of songs about revolution. And then he also had so many songs in which he dealt with, I think the mind of a Black man and a Black man living in, America and the things that Black men have to deal with. And I felt like, and the reason why I put these songs on the list is because I felt like they were revolutionary in the way that he approached the subject matter. So the songs I'm talking about and the artist I'm talking about was Gil Scott-Heron. The songs that I chose were The Prisoner and Home Is Where the Hatred Is. The Prisoner, I'll read the lyrics that I chose from that first. Excuse me.
Real quick. Yes, it was Tom Laughlin who played Billy Jack. And yes, he was also an activist. And so was his wife, who plays the head of the peaceful, pacifistic compound. They were both activists.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
And I did find the lyrics. Right. Yeah, again, this is The Prisoner by Gil Scott-Heron. He says, Black babies in the womb. Black babies in the womb are shackled and bound, chained by the caveman who keeps beauty down. Smacked on the ass when they're squalling and wet, heir to a spineless man who never forgets that he's a prisoner. Won't you hear my plea? Excuse me, can't you hear my plea? because I need somebody, Lord knows, to listen to me. I'm a stranger to my son who wonders why his daddy runs. So I just think that, or I thought that, and like I said, I put this on the list because I felt like when I heard Gil Scott-Heron's music, I had never heard anything like this before. I had never heard any Black man who I had heard make music be so introspective about the condition of Black people. I think because he was a poet, I felt like he just reached me on a very deep level with the songs that he made.
Have you heard any of the Last Poets stuff?
A little bit, but not. No.
Yeah, the Revolution. It's funny. So I have all of their older albums. Thank you. Shout out to my sister Lisa. So Abiodun Oyewole, one of the members of the Last Poets, he came to our, I'm a former poet. He came to our writers workshop. We had a writers workshop every Saturday at Auburn Avenue Research Library here in Atlanta, and he came, and so we're doing our poetry. Of course, he's dropping some incredible stuff, and
great.
He had his CDs with him, and my sister bought all of the Last Poet's original albums from him, in CD form, and gifted me.
Wow.
Because she cried from this poem I did, and it's called, I can't remember it now, but basically it's about this man who he wears a hammer on his chest, and it's the heavy hammer had been beating him in the chest so much that his body was bent low, and people make fun of him. And he walks into church one day, and the preacher says, why you walk around with that hammer on? He said, well, because the hammer fell off the shelf in the garage, hit my mama in the head, killed my mama, and so I wear this hammer to remind me of my mama. And he said, that's ridiculous, that's idolatry, so and so, and Hammer Man, he points out to him, well, you wear the cross,
of course,
represent your, and the hammer shape just damn near like it, right? And so throughout the point, Lisa, that's the first time she heard me do poetry, so she didn't know that I did poetry on the level that I did it on.
Right.
Because a lot of people say I do poetry. I call them church poems, and people in the church say, that's good, baby. But you ask them why, it's just good. It's good.
Right.
They know that's you have some bullshit, but they, they're gonna inspire you. It's good, baby. They, they're gonna support you. But that's a church poem. That only works in the church. You take it outside the church, people are like, that's some garbage, right? So anybody can say they write poetry. But I was actually pretty skilled in it. That's because I was taught, if you're going to, whatever you do, be great at it and do everything in it. Taught that from a child. So I learned to write in damn near every genre that's out here. And that includes poetry, right?
Yeah.
So Lisa was inspired, like, damn, my brother can write like this, and she can write poetry. But when she saw that I can actually, I'm actually pretty good at it, and its delivery, then she, gifted me with that. So shout out to her, and shout out to Abiodun and the rest of the Last Poets. When you talked about Gil Scott-Heron, who was not a Last Poet, it just reminded me of that, because they have a similar, when the revolution would not be televised, and then Last Poets, the niggas are scared of revolution, which would have been on here, but other songs I put on here that were more revolution songs to me. But
yeah, I actually thought about because of the amount of songs that I felt like I found. I thought that it would be great if we could do an expanded episode, or a part 2 to this episode where we go more in depth with songs. And it would be, now I feel like I really want to choose more revolutionary songs. So
we may do an expanded version on our upcoming Patreon.
Oh yeah, that would be a great idea.
Patreon. So I'm working to put it together.
Okay.
So, we'll get it together. But
and I'm sorry, I still had for the other Gil Scott-Heron song, "Home Is Where the Hatred Is." The reason why I chose this song is because and what I felt was revolutionary about the song is that not everyone, but Gil Scott-Heron struggled with, and I believe eventually passed away from, a very heavy drug addiction. And he was on and off of I think it was heroin, which I hear is the hardest thing to kick, basically. And
didn't you make the song "Angel Dust"?
I don't know.
Angel Dust. I thought that was him, but
it could have been. I can't say I'm familiar with his entire catalog, but there are definitely quite a few of his songs that I know, but I don't know that one, if it is one of his songs. But "Home Is Where the Hatred Is," he actually writes from the perspective of a junkie, so to speak, a drug addict. And he talks about, how you're treated when you're in that particular place. So he's like writing from the inside out, which I thought was interesting. So the lyrics I chose for that is stand as far away from me as you can and ask me why. Hang on to your rosary beads. Close your eyes to watch me die. You keep saying, kick it, quit it, kick it, quit it. God, but did you ever try to turn your sick soul inside out so that the world can watch you die? Home is where the hatred is, inside my white powder dreams. Home was once an empty vacuum that's filled now with my silent screams. Again, I chose this as a revolutionary song. What made me think about it was Dr. Mutulu Shakur and the treatment that he did of Black drug addicts with his acupuncture, and how he was onto something with that particular thing, and how that experience of being on, that heavily into drugs is something that we have to address in our community. And it's not, you don't hear a lot of people. I don't know if I've ever heard another song from the perspective of a junkie. I guess someone has made one, but the how descriptive he is with this particular song, I thought was just something I'd never heard before. So that's why I chose it for the list.
From the perspective of a junkie, yeah, you've heard of Sean Price.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah.
So and I hate to use junkie.
Right, me too. It's just
I have a question for you, for the chat. You don't have to answer it now. Just think about it. Does a drug addict have a place in revolution?
I think so.
So
I think so.
All right. My number 5 is "Fight the Power," written by and performed by Chuck D. Of course, performed by Public Enemy, but it's written by Chuck D. That was released July 4th, 1989. "Fight the Power" has been hailed as one of the greatest songs of all time by critics and publications. And in 2021, it was ranked number 2 in Rolling Stone's 500 greatest songs of all time. Okay. I consider that one of the probably top 5 greatest rap songs for me ever. That, The Message, those are my top 2, to be honest. 1989, we all know that. "The Number," "Another Summer," "Sound of the Funky Drummer," "Music Hitting Your Heart Cause I Know You Got Soul," "Brothers and Sisters," "Listen If You're Missing," y'all, "Swinging While I'm Singing." Okay, "Swinging While I'm Singing." That's the first part of talking about revolutionary violence. "Giving What You're Getting," knowing what I'm knowing while the black band's sweating and the rhythm rhymes rolling. Got to give us what we want. Got to give us what we need. Our freedom of speech is freedom or death. We got to fight the powers that be. So for me, I love that. Fight the power. Fight the power. And of course, Chuck D has the great voice for it, right? That I was older then when that came out in '89. Well, I was 21. That for me, that strongly inspired me during that era, because I was in the military, but so I had to be very quiet about my radicalism. You in the military, and you have radical thoughts and thoughts of revolution. Actually, you're considered dangerous, and you may end up falling out, jumping out of a plane, and your parachute doesn't open, or you may end up found at the bottom of a river somewhere. Okay. One thing about the military too, they ain't too much worried about you causing a revolutionary act on their bases. They'll take you out quick, but they hate being embarrassed. So you have people who have, I just realized my shirt's on backwards. This is crazy. I'm looking at it like, wait a minute, this is the back of my shirt. Hell no. But anyway, that's what happens when you get up and you're getting ready too quick. But
look, we both got on baseball what's it called? Ringer.
Yeah.
Ringer shirts. Or
so the military is worried about being embarrassed. You've had, Marines and everybody who are fed up. They'll say, went off the rails. They didn't go off the rails. They were fed up. And some gone off the rails. For some reason they go to Walmart and start shooting at Walmart, moving in military formations, and nobody else with them. So it's hard to do a formation by yourself, but they're moving in military fashion where they're cutting the pie like they were trained to do if they're special operators or something of that nature, any type of special op. And they're popping motherfuckers, shooting at motherfuckers. Just interesting what begins. So the military doesn't want that to happen. For you to get out the military, if you don't know, out the Army, I know. I'm assuming the other branches do this too. You have to, a psychologist has to sign off that you're psychologically fit to get out of the military. Think about that shit. If you're not found psychologically fit, they make you stay in the military. So it's cool to send you off to kill some motherfucker. You'd be crazy as hell.
Right, but you can't go home.
You can't go home. Nah, because you might embarrass the military.
Or people might see what's really going on.
Right, exactly. But anyway, that was my number 5, Fight the Power. While you do your other ones, I'm going to step off and change this shirt around. I would change it in front of y'all, but y'all be so enamored by the, the build. So I'm going to change.
Sure. So if the 2 Gil Scott Herons were my 4 and 5, I have also 2 from another artist. And his name is Fela Kuti. He was a Nigerian Afrobeat artist, high life artist in the 1960s and 70s, and he railed against the Nigerian government a lot. If anyone's ever read into him or seen the play about his life, you'll see how much tragedy he was subject to. And the songs that I chose that he made were from a particularly tumultuous period in his life. I chose the song Zombie, and then I chose the song Gentleman. And I didn't actually choose any lyrics from either of the song. I'd rather read to you something that I found in my research. But basically, Zombie was a song about the Nigerian army, and just how, they behave like zombies. Let's see. Says there were deeper tensions, however. Fela was becoming more and more outspoken on issues surrounding the military, government officials, some of which he would single out by name at shows, and general public obedience. Out of this atmosphere emerged 1978's Zombie, a searing attack on the Nigerian army, whom he likened to mindless zombies, blindly following the violent orders of their superiors. To the obvious outrage of the government, the album was a huge hit with the people and lit the fuse on the most vicious period of attacks against Fela and his family. If anyone, like I said, if you know anything about his story, the Nigerian government killed his mother. I mean, there was so much tragedy in Fela's life. And the other song that I chose was Gentleman. And I apologize. I have the pages open because I did have some lyrics for Gentleman that I wanted to read. Give me just a second. But basically, Gentleman, if you think about it, you know, that's a term, a very European term. And so he talks about how that's not who he is, how he's an African. And also, I just want to say this. Fela Kuti's birthday is 3 days before mine. He was born 40 years prior to me. But he's definitely one of my favorite artists. And again, excuse me, y'all.
Eugene Mason said Fela was a serious revolutionary, much respect warrior. Yes. His mother was Iyalode. That's a powerful title in Ifa and in, amongst the Yoruba.
Yoruba.
But she, so it means mother of the outside, but basically the head of women. And she's very vocal in Nigeria, and they murdered her. So.
Okay. Yeah, that was so it's a very sad scene from the play about his life as well, of course, when his mother was killed by them. The lyric that I was going to read from the song Gentleman is Africa hot like I am so. I know what to wear, but my friends don't know. Him put on sock, him put on shoe, him put on pant, him put on singlet, him put on trouser, him put on shirt, him put on tie, him put on coat, him come cover all with him hat. Him be a gentleman, him go sweat all over, him go faint right down, him go smell like shit, him go piss for body, him no go no. Me, I be no gentleman like that. And, you know, it's so funny. And this is something that, you know, we see people do here all the time. I think I talked about this, the dressing in 3/4, you know, with all black in the middle of summer and everything you have on is polyester, you know, like, I mean, you're suffering, I guess, you know, you think that you're suffering for some deity, maybe. But us trying to be so much like the European and dress like the European, he just makes it so obvious how ridiculous it is with these lyrics. You know, you're in Africa and you're putting on all this stuff like you're in London somewhere, you know, and you're sweating and you smell like shit, but you think you're a gentleman because you're dressed like what someone told you a gentleman is. Right. So I think Fela definitely, I believe I hit some revolutionary songs with Fela because he definitely made calls to arms in his songs. So that's Fela Kuti. Zombie and Gentleman.
My number 6, Freedom Got an AK, and that's written by all the members of the Lynch Mob. That was released September 22nd, 1992. For those who don't know, if you don't know about the Lynch Mob, Ice Cube was an uncredited member of the Lynch Mob. Mm-hmm. And the group started as Ice Cube's bodyguards and entourage, and they convinced him they wanted to start rapping, and he was with the idea, and he funded them becoming rappers. So then you had them come out. Hold on, I got me a damn fly right here. Ugh, God, the South is something else. You don't know the South. I'm still a Northern boy. I've been here 24 years, but like I was just telling them, close the door. That's what when I got up, I closed the door. And my wife said, I got it, but I always tell them they'll go outside and comfortably have the door open, chilling, looking out, and all that. Because my children grew up here in the South. They were born here in the South, some of them. So they country in the mud. And my wife is from Atlanta, country in the mud. I can't stand it. I can't stand having the flies and all that shit flying through the house. But we have that when you open those doors. So that's just me. I got to get over that. Now I'm an African, so I know. On the continent, a lot of times they don't even have doors. They'll have a sheet over their house, so you're getting flies and shit like that. I just don't like them. That Chicago cityness is in me strong.
Yeah, bro.
Anyway, Freedom Got an AK. That's by the Lynch Mob. The reason why I like Freedom Got an AK and a couple of the songs, the Lynch Mob, they were all in the nation. Ice Cube wasn't in the nation, but his wife, Kim, was in the nation. I don't know if she still is, but
I did not know that either.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
So here's a couple of lyrics from that. I wish I was in Dixie, AK, then shit wouldn't have been bad in the 60s. No way. Now that they're simplifying what was going on in the 60s, because just because they had an AK, they wouldn't have changed shit. Not just them, but anyway. I can't see the OGs standing in big lines, holding big signs, trying to get mine. I'll shoot your ass 17 times, because this week we don't turn the other cheek. Do that shit and get stole on. Non-violence got a hold on. Plus we got a roll on the mayor of the whole fucking city. Saw the Lynch Mob and his jaws got shitty. So get the fuck out my way when I spray. Hey, Freedom Got an AK. So that's the Lynch Mob. Freedom Got an AK. For me, it's very fantastical, but it can inspire others to stand up, take arms, and get shit done. So that is Freedom Got an AK by the Lynch Mob, my number 6.
Yeah, bro. Oh, I forgot to write down your last couple. I gotta go back and watch the show again. But I guess I'd do that anyway. So the next song I chose, again, this might be a sort of unorthodox revolutionary song, but there's quite a few songs from this group, particularly their first album, which is the one I'm most familiar with. But Dead Prez, the song that I chose from them is Be Healthy. And the reason why I chose that song is because when I heard this song, I had no idea what they were talking about. Like, they were saying things that, I would say as a child of the, what I consider the true school hip hop generation, like, I always admired vegetarians, but I never thought that I could be one, I
don't eat no meat.
Right. No dairy, no sweet. That's what I was gonna hold on. We're gonna do it.
I was listening to that while I was eating me a goddamn Italian beef and had me cheesecake for dessert.
Yeah, I bet you were.
No dairy, no sweet.
So the lyrics go.
At that time when I first heard that song, I was a vegetarian.
Oh wow, no, I wasn't. It says, I don't eat no meat, no dairy, no sweets, only ripe vegetables, fresh fruit, and whole wheat. I'm from the old school. My household smell like soul food, bro. Curry falafel, barbecue tofu, no fish though, no candy bars, no cigarettes, only ganja and fresh squeezed juice from oranges. Exercising daily to stay healthy, and I rarely drink water out the tap because it's filthy. That was the first few lines from that song. And like I said, to hear that at the time when I heard it was revolutionary for me. You know, like curry falafel, I've developed a recipe based on that. And this is like because it just sounded so delicious at the time. And I know that's kind of silly, but I think, you know, the idea of putting that thought into a young person's mind, into the mind of anyone who hears this song, it's really important that we be healthy as revolutionary, excuse me. It's really important that we pay attention to our diets. And the thing that this whole thing that other people have it too, but our main concern is, of course, our people. And the tendency that we have to joke about our health, or to, you know, make when someone's talking about being healthy, to, you know, crack a joke about, oh, you're gonna go out some kind of way and all of that. Like that, we have to think about whether or not that was bred into our personality, because it's not really, it doesn't really make good sense for someone to be trying to educate you about being more healthy and for you to be, you know, constantly making light of it. And it's something that happens in our community all the time. It happens to me almost every day, to be honest. When, you know, if people start talking to me about my diet, like they just make these jokes. And, you know, I laugh sometimes when it's really funny, but, you know, for the most part, it's a shame, because, you know, if our bodies are not, even with the preppers, and I'm talking about the white preppers, when you see them and they're like gigantic, you know, if you can't run at all, if you can't run a mile, if you can't run a half mile or anything like that, how much good are you really gonna be if something jumps off? You know, if this whole proper revolution that people think about ever jumps off, like how useful are you gonna be if you're unhealthy because you've been eating this stuff, and whenever somebody ever tried to come to you and talk to you about your health, you just crack jokes? You know what I'm saying? So again, the song I chose by Dead Prez is Be Healthy. Honorable mention, I'd say, to the song Malcolm Garvey Huey also, which I don't think either you or Belay chose. But I would say that song, because of the beat and the format and the subject matter, you know, I'd like to mention that song as well, just because they chose a more popular beat that most sort of hip hop heads at that time weren't vibing with, that kind of with those types of beats, because they're more Southern, more bouncy, but they really made a great song. And, you know, I did have some lyrics that I wanted to read from that particular song, just because it was my favorite part of that song at the beginning. I guess because the man is talking about his wife. I had it right here, and it seems like every time I go back to it, it's on a different part or something.
Rage Against the Machine was something else.
Yeah. I'll just say, oh, there's someone in the chat.
No, they're saying talking about Rage Against the Machine.
Oh, okay. Okay. I live, I die, I organize. Everything I do's revolutionize. I build what's good for the whole damn hood. Study G's like G's. Really think you should study Malcolm Garvey Huey. Malcolm Garvey Huey. Okay. I'll just read it. To my ears, he's saying, I'm Ogun with the machete, especially if it's deadly. Got the Santos for the hexy to protect me, so respect me. This is heavy, legendary, revolutionary. My wife, she resurrect me when they thought they had me buried. So what the thing that he's talking about, and this is Divine. This is not one of Dead Prez. This is the featured artist on the song. But the first thing, like I said, and this is one thing that I found with looking up certain lyrics, especially looking up certain lyrics, is I believe, it's probably Urugu's translating these lyrics. So there's certain concepts they're not familiar with. So when you look up the lyric, it's not really what it is, like they don't really understand certain vernacular. And that's why we need to continue to keep them out of our culture. Because I have seen, like I said, certain things, like we can still speak a vernacular on a level that they don't understand. So like when you look up the lyrics to this song, it says, I'm a goon with a machete. But when I hear the song, I hear I'm Ogun with the machete.
Well, and that's since he's talking about Santo.
Right. And a machete.
Definitely.
So
well, to make that clear, Ogun doesn't use a machete.
Well, I was just thinking about the fact that it's metal.
Right, but yes, that's definitely Ogun, but Ogun wields a sword, but a lot of people don't, and that's one thing too. I mean, a machete is a sword, short sword, right? But we don't think of war at its fullest, really. So person sees a sword and they'll say, that's a nice machete. Machete is used because machete was used to clear the field.
Yeah, bro.
When I see a machete, I see a sword, because I'm not just clearing a field, because a knife, you can use it for different things too.
Yeah, bro.
When I see a knife, I'm not thinking about cutting steak. I'm thinking about slitting somebody's throat if I'm going to use it.
Right.
The machete, I can clear out an area, but its main purpose is to fight the enemy.
Yeah, bro.
In my mind, right? So it all depends on where you think at, where your thinking's at too.
Right.
And that's why revolution songs are important. Movies made by us, which is lacking because of the cost of making those movies, right?
Right.
And I always say, well, we can't do movies, we could do plays. I used to do plays in Chicago, which were pretty popular. You can do plays with the same kind of, we would do with the same type of stunts and effects that you would see in movies.
Right. And so, it costs a whole lot less.
Exactly.
Right. But you can still capture the imagination of people. I definitely agree with that. And the other thing I wanted to refer to, though, from the lyrics is when he talks about my wifey, she resurrect me when they thought they had me buried. With that, he's referring to the Aset Heru story, which most people know Aset as Isis. That's the I think Greek name, or I don't know. Yeah. But Aset is the Kemetic name, and Heru is known as Horus. But supposedly he was cut up into 13 pieces, and she and her sister went around, found all 13 pieces, reassembled him, and resurrected him. So I thought it was beautiful the way that, he was able to put that in a song and refer to it.
I see. Now, my number 7 is Revolution 1993 by Jamiroquai. That was released June 14th, 1993. It's a 10-minute long track.
Wow.
But it's good. So here's a few lyrics from it. Yes, you've got to stand up, stay strong, start moving in the right direction. Don't wait too long for people promising divine intervention. 1993. Now I'm taking matters into my own hands. So fast I can't see a revolution. Is the only way we can change. I want to fight the power. Well, it's hard times, white lines, kids of 9 getting down with gun crime. War zones, no homes. Ain't it the time we gave the dog a bone? Say, brothers, sisters, get up and put yourself in the picture. This time, a revolution is the only way we can change. I want to fight the power. So that is Revolution 1993 by Jamiroquai.
Okay, cool. So the next song I chose is this starts with the movie part that I was saying. And so just follow me, family, because I might I didn't write this down, so I might talk a little bit. But there's an artist named James Samuel who is also a movie director. And now I'm losing the name of the movie, but it was a Black Western that came out on Netflix a couple of years ago. Yeah. And I'm getting the name confused with the other movie that he came out with first. He came out with a movie called They Die by Dawn.
Right. The harder they fall?
The Harder They Fall. You're right. So James Samuel, he directed the movie. He wrote the movie. He scored the movie because he's a musician. And I believe, from the songs that I've heard from him, that most of his music is about revolution. It's just that he puts it in this Western format. And just think about what a Western is, you know what I'm saying? Even calling it a Western. But he puts it in a Western format because it makes it more palatable. But you're talking about fighting an enemy. So he has this one song called, and this is on, so his name is James Samuel, but when he makes music under a name, The Bullets. And it sounds like a group name, but it's really just him. But there's other people that kind of rotate in and out of The Bullets. Jay Electronica has been an MC for The Bullets, which I love Jay Electronica. Also Idris Elba, I think he did like some DJing for The Bullets, and there's just been a few different
stars in The Harder They Fall too.
Right, exactly. And that's why, because they have this relationship. But as The Bullets, about maybe 8 or so years ago, he put out a record called They Die by Dawn. Now, They Die by Dawn is the name of the first movie that he put out. It was a short movie, and it was also a Western, and it also had a huge Black cast. So if you've never seen They Die by Dawn, I think it's on YouTube. And of course, you should check out The Harder They Fall also. But these are the lyrics that I chose from Bouquets of Barbed Wire.
Real quick, Ellis Child says Santos is Saints. Yes. Saints is associated with the Orisha in Cuba. The Orisha from Nigeria first, then in Cuba, also in Puerto Rico, in Brazil,
wherever we were.
Wherever we were, the Orisha are. So just so you know, but it begins. I'm a Babalawo. We check us out on Sundays.
Yes.
Me and my wife. African Spiritual Resistance is the show on Sundays right here on Black Power Media. Oh, and mash the like button, y'all.
Yes, please do.
And subscribe if you aren't subscribed already. But yeah, so the Orisha are wherever we were. The Orisha like African clothes. You know, when we're talking about, I go to conventions and people cosplaying. I don't African. I always wear African outfits. You know, and they. What era is that from? I said, oh, this here? This 1200 AD? They said, oh. I said, oh, but it's also from 1800. And really, we say BCE or CE, right? This from 1800. It's from 1920. People look like, that's 1944. 1965, 2000, 2010. How is this possible? Because the African clothes are so greatly and smartly designed, they're appropriate throughout time. Same as the Orisha. All right. So anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, that's very true. That you might have a slightly different cut here and there, but yeah, most definitely timeless wardrobe.
Right, exactly.
These are the lyrics.
Timeless and spaceless wardrobe. Same as timeless and spaceless.
Same thing.
Same thing. Yeah.
Beautiful. Absolutely, Bob.
Timeless and spaceless martial arts technique.
Yeah, Bob. Yes, sir. So these are the bullets, these are the lyrics that I chose from, again, The Bullets, Bouquets of Barbed Wire. He writes in a very metaphorical way, but to me, when I hear the song, I feel like I know what it's about. So he says, nothing taken after me, the apple fallen far from tree. That's the reason you're in season, so take your time. All because you made your lane. Now everybody calls your name. Now you're hounded, you're surrounded, but that's your crime. And the words that land upon your ear fall apart. So you question everything you hear. Bless your heart. And the hook is, one day we may laugh at the photographs of the times we cried, and we'll burn those words they say while they lay bouquets of barbed wire. So to me, like I'll just say, I feel like he's talking about a lot of times white supremacy or white domination, or whatever it is that we want to call it. And I'm sure everyone has reasons for their names, and I respect that. But what colonialism also, because this brother is actually British, so he's experienced a different side of white domination. But when he talks about the apple not falling far from the tree, and he says that's the reason you're in season, he's talking about how the colonialism doesn't fall far from imperialism, and the reason why they dominate things right now to a certain extent in this world that we live in is because of their connection to what they were. But I feel like, honestly, it may sound convoluted, but to my mind, this song and the record that he put out, the album, that he put out, which again is called They Die by Dawn, is very much about revolution, very much about the downfall of white supremacy. So check out The Bullets.
That's it. My number 8 is Fuck the Police, written by Ice Cube, MC Ren, and the DOC. Okay. That was released August 9th, 1988. The song prompted the FBI to write to NWA's record company about the lyrics, expressing disapproval and arguing that the song misrepresented police.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't. Yeah. It tells exactly how they are, but they didn't want that representation out there the way it was, right? A couple of lyrics from that. Fuck the police coming straight from the underground. A young nigga got it bad cause I'm brown and not the other color, so police think they have the authority to kill a minority. Fuck that shit cause I ain't the one for a punk motherfucker with a badge and a gun to be beaten on and thrown in jail. We can go toe to toe in the middle of a cell. And Ice Cube goes on to say, Ice Cube will swarm on any motherfucker in a blue uniform. Just cause I'm from the CPT, punk police are afraid of me. A young nigga on a warpath. And when I'm finished, it's gonna be a bloodbath of cops dying in LA. Yo, Dre, I got something to say. Fuck the police. Fuck the police. So that is Fuck the Police by performed by NWA, but written by Ice Cube, MC Ren, and the DOC.
Yeah, bro. Amen to that one. All right. So this would actually be my number 10. And according to your criteria, this is definitely, sadly, not a revolution song, but it's one of the first songs that I thought of when I started researching for this. And that's the song Mississippi Goddamn by Nina Simone. Basically, it was made in the climate of the sort of mid 60s, the four Black girls in Birmingham. The killing of Medgar Evers was also an event that inspired it. And just, just like what I was talking about before, how George Floyd, was an era. Amadou Diallo was an era. This was something that she was writing in her particular era. And are people protesting, having dogs sicked on them, that kind of thing is the kind of thing that inspired this song. So the lyrics I chose for it were, "Don't tell me, I'll tell you. Me and my people just about do. I've been there, so I know. They keep on saying, go slow. But that's just the trouble. Do it slow. Washing the windows, too slow. Picking the cotton, too slow. You're just plain rotten, too slow. You're too damn lazy, too slow. And thinking is crazy, too slow. Where am I going? What am I doing? I don't know. I don't know. Just try to do your very best. Stand up and be counted with all the rest, because everybody knows about Mississippi. Goddamn." So I chose this song because I thought it was a revolution song, but it's when you hear it, it's very stirring. And I think that the power of music, and we kind of spoke on this, but the power of music is that it can stir up a feeling inside of you that will make you active. So though she may not do any actual call to arms in this particular song, I feel like the way that she presents it, could make people go out and actually do some action instead of maybe not arm resistance, but
anybody who knew Nina Simone would have known she's talking about the too slow you're doing. And I wish she had to put that in there in a way, but you're doing these things too slow. You're doing it, but what she felt was too slow was us revolting against oppression,
right?
Oppressors. She felt that was too slow.
Yeah, and I got that from the song. I definitely felt that she felt that way from the song. I feel like that's why she said it so many times. Because I think that's a different part of the song. She talks about integration being, or desegregation being too slow. And I mean, you can feel the way you want to feel about desegregation. I definitely have my feelings on it. But like you said, Baba, she's really saying that we shouldn't be standing still for this, right. So that's Mississippi Goddamn, Nina Simone.
Excellent song. I love Nina Simone's work. Now, number 9, Fight Them Back by Linton Kwesi Johnson. It was released in 1979. I couldn't get the exact date. Now, the 71-year-old Linton Kwesi Johnson, also known as LKJ, he's still alive, 71, is a Jamaican-born, British-based dub poet and activist. In 2002, he became the second living poet and the only Black one to be published in the Penguin Modern Classic series. Fight Them Back, a couple of lines from that. "We gonna smash their brains in, cause they ain't got nothing in them. We gonna smash their brains in, cause they ain't got nothing in them. Some of them say them a nigger hater, and some of them say them a black beater. Some of them say them a black stabber, and some of them say them a packy basher. Fascist and the attack. Nobody worry about that. Fascists and the attack. We fight them back. Fascists and the attack, then we counterattack. Fascists on the attack, then we drive them back." So he's straight talking about fighting against our oppression. We're gonna it starts with, we're gonna smash their brains in because they ain't got nothing in them.
Yeah, well.
We're gonna smash their brains in because they ain't got nothing in them. And he's talking about some say they a nigger hater, they black beater, they packy basher. we're gonna attack them. Okay, we're gonna attack them, bash their brains in. So that is "Fight Them Back" by Linton Kwesi Johnson.
Yeah, boom. And I feel like, and I went over mine because my list was kind of in flux. I've done 10, but there's one other song that I'd like to make mention of. Actually, there's a few I could make mention of, but it's a song by one of my favorite MCs, who I believe is a top 10 MC, regardless of how anyone else feels. And his name is Pharoahe Monch.
Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah, and it was I think it was 2000. I'm just coming from memory. I think it was like 07 that he came out with I guess it's right here. I don't know. 07, yeah, it was 07. He came out with an album called Desire, and there was a song on it called Free, in which he kind of not low key, but how he admonishes the record the record industry. I knew I said something wrong. And I just love the way he does it. And he does in a way call certain MCs to action. Because if you think about it, the way like we're talking about, and the reason why we put this list together is because the effects that musicians have on the people can be very strong. So, to actually talk about the insides and what they're doing in the record industry, and to tell MCs this is what we need to be doing to do better for ourselves and do better for our people, is, for me, a revolutionary thing. So, and it's the beginning of the song. He says, "You can clip my wings, shackle and chain me, back straight, standing tall, a child of God, because I'm free. Spit in my face, hold me down. I keep my feet turned firm to the ground because I'm free. Your A&R is a house nigga. The label's a plantation. Now switch that advance for your emancipation. MCs are the field, like pick cotton for real. I pop blocks like Beach Street with an option to kill."
Hey, there you go.
Right. So, and it's funny because when you read the lyrics, that is not what it says. But like I said, we still have a way that we can level that we can talk on, that these white folks basically that's translating these lyrics don't understand. So they didn't get that particular part of what he was saying. But not only is this song great, but there are on that Desire album, I would say just basically every song is a great song. His perspectives are very fresh. His lyricism is out of this world. So please check out the song "Free" by Pharoahe Monch and the entire album yeah, that's right. I got it in there fun now. The entire album that is on Desire.
Now let me say this about white folks not getting certain parts of our vernacular. Sometimes they know exactly what the fuck we're saying, and they use it, they twist it to weaken it or to make it advantageous to them.
Yeah, Bo.
So like Bob Marley's song "One Love," they turned that into the, all hold hands, one love, one day, white little black boy and little white girl gonna hold hands together. They turned that into that.
Right.
One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel all right. We're talking to white folks,
right?
About us having one love and getting together to feel all right. White folk already feel all right.
Right. Exactly.
Talking to them, but they twisted that and they put it in commercials and shit. Have white people in Jamaica taking just really oppressing the place, gentrifying the place and shit. But it's one love. Get out of here, right? And so we think he's talking about one love, just all of us holding it. No, that's not what that's talking about.
Yeah, Bo.
So a lot of times they can, they don't catch certain things. But what those motherfuckers do, they hire somebody black who does know what it's talking about and don't give a fuck about his people and tell us what this is talking about.
Right.
He tells.
Yeah.
You know.
Right. And that's why we gotta have a code and stay on it.
And don't think that motherfuckers not. So part of military intelligence is to study human intelligence. It's to study human behavior and what they're doing. So they're not so in the dark like we, think a lot of times. Be very, very careful of that. They act like they're in the dark and they know. And it leads to certain lies or misconceptions. Like when you hear people in Capoeira say, we hid our martial arts and dance from the you goddamn lie. Well, I don't want to say you're goddamn lie. You may be just confused. The cracker banned all music in Brazil, African music. He banned the drum. So you were not going to be doing no capoeira in his face, and he didn't know what you were doing. You wasn't doing capoeira. He banned that shit too.
Right.
He banned capoeira. He banned the use of the drum, which is why the berimbau came about. That came about, right? That's not an African instrument. It's similar to some, but they could use that, and you better not use that in the African rhythm. You better not use that in a combative rhythm. White folks know about music used in battle. You see them playing the flute in battle and playing the drum. They understand that. They use music in combat. They understand. Right. So that's not true that we hid martial art technique in the drum and in the dance. And
you kill me when you do your hands like that
with it, because that's all I'm get at it. So stop it. That's not true. If we learn martial arts in secret, believe me, it wasn't done right in the crack of space like that.
Right. Yeah, boom.
They probably met in secret and teaching each other in that way, but not in front of his face. Hell no. Hell no. People can come to my class and I can teach a technique, and I've talked about that. And I'm teaching Ominiki the same thing it looks like to you, but I'm teaching her completely different because she understands certain things, right? If a Caucasian comes around enough, they will pick that up and get that, though. Just so you know. You're not dealing with a person that, that myth. We're so much more clever. We're more clever, but not so much more that they'll never catch what the fuck we're doing if we are just allowing them to the cookout all the time.
Right. Yeah, boom.
I just want to make that clear, because we get real comfortable. That's what was the downfall of Shaka Zulu. He got so comfortable and so arrogant that, these motherfuckers can't do shit with me. So they can be around. And they convinced them that their magic was more powerful than Shaka's God. By putting some shoe polish in his hair and making him think they turned him young again. Be careful. Yeah, don't underestimate nobody. Don't put your guards down around nobody. Stay chiseled. And I'm sorry, I'll let you get to your next one.
That was my number 10. You're now on number 10?
Okay. Oh, well, yeah. I'm on 10 now. Fight until the end. So, is this a play on from EYL? No. So EYL, if you watch EYL yesterday, they fought from the beginning of the show to dealing with the fight to the end of the show. Jared, the chat, Jared and Diallo. It was very interesting. Watch it, and so you get some things. But I never saw Jared so angry. I've seen him angry, but God, he was angry.
Could you give the full name?
No, I didn't give the name of the song. I'm talking about what happened
No,
yesterday.
no.
EYL, Earn Your Liberation.
Right. Okay.
But so number 10, my number 10 is Fight Until the End. That's by Sabak Red and Immortal Technique. Sabak Red grew up in Puerto Rico, but he's Italian and Puerto Rican, I think. And Immortal Technique is, I believe, Puerto Rican. Anyway, Sabak was born in Guaynabo, Puerto Rico, along with his twin sister. His family moved to Brooklyn, New York when he was 4 years old. At the age of 12, Sabak began exploring the art of emceeing. Okay. On his album, I can't remember the name of the album. There's a lot of revolutionary songs on there. But this one, Fight Until the End, I'll give a couple of lyrics on it. Unjustified shootings, fatal choking, severe beatings. Police attack the innocent without fair reasons. Precincts are full of cowards abusing authority. Minorities abuse majority. People living in poverty. Now, minorities abuse majority. He's saying that the white folks are the minorities. Actually.
Yeah, bro.
Which in the world is true. Priority is them doing right by the nation, but large parts of it's been human rights violation. Tired of being patient, waiting for internal affairs to show improvements. The truth is we've been burning for years. Use your weapons. Fight back, kid. That's how the game goes. My boy Kevin got his skull cracked by pigs in plain clothes. They told him there's regrets if he doesn't stay calm and proceeded to put cigarettes out in his palm. Now he can't think, he can't feel. Sometimes you gotta grab steel, blast, peel before they sentence you and serve your last meal. I know fighting back is easier said than acting. Let's start moving forward and stop stepping backwards. You might also, them shoot us, turn around and deny it. People on the streets are dying. We must come together, fight oppression and pull the pressure on the system that tries to diss us, tries to hurt us and tries to kill us. We don't win, we fight again. We gonna fight until the end, until the end. We fight until we win, until we win.
Yeah, bro.
That is Fight Until the End by Sabak Red and Immortal Technique. Like I said, it came out June 15, 2004.
Okay.
So those are my songs. You know, as we were talking, I was thinking about two things involving movies. One, we can do a top 10 revolutionary movie. That'll probably be harder to find than songs.
Yeah.
Top 5
right
revolutionary movie, because ain't too many. We talking about the visual, they try to make sure that shit don't come out.
Yeah, because that just galvanizes people.
Right. So we can do that. And it also got me thinking about a certain film that I want to write.
Oh. Yeah, that's good. That's good to know.
Yeah. So, you know, a lot of lately, I've been wanting to get back into writing, well, publishing. I've been writing it, but publishing fiction books. But, you know, I do a lot of science fiction and fantasy books. And within that, I hide certain, or not really so much hide, but it's interweaved within there certain, you can't escape really your politics anyway when you write. But there's certain things I want to say, and I put them in within science fiction and fantasy,
right?
Of course, to make it more palatable, right?
Right.
But I've been wanting to, and you know, I wrote Malik, Confessions of a Black Extremist,
Black Identity Extremist.
Yeah, Black Identity Extremist. Excuse me. I wrote book 1 and 2 for that. I've been wanting to, and that's not science fiction and fantasy, right? Not really. It's post-apocalyptic though. Apocalyptic. They're in the middle of apocalypse, basically. Right.
Yeah, bro.
I've been wanting to write something that's not science fiction and fantasy, that's and that's very revolutionary. right? But hot. So the one thing too, y'all, is a lot of times, like I knew brothers from the nation, they would want to write stuff about, and I'm not saying the nation's revolutionary, but these brothers wanted to write things to represent the nation's beliefs and politics, and they would do it, but it would be so didactic. It would be whack.
Right.
Right. I had a rap group. Right. I was part of two when I was totally out there. We had the Men of Business, MOB, and I loved that group. It was great. We were great. But in fact, we were considered the #1 group in Chicago, rap group. But we battled this other group who called themselves the MOB, but they were conscious rappers.
Mm-hmm.
And they came to this club where we were winning every week money. We were making our money off of winning, beating other groups, and we get the money. We were making like $500 a week. So these folks heard about us. They came, and there was this DJ Pink House who's on the radio. He was the host, and he said, "This is against the MOB," and he changed our name in there. He wrote the real and the real MOB because he
okay.
And we're battling them, and the crowd is loving us to the point they started booing them. But
get out.
I woke up right there as they're teaching, and they're talking about revolution, and they're talking about our oppression, and I'm sitting there thinking like, shit, they talking about better shit than us. We talking about killing a motherfucker, the bras that love us. I used bras back then. I don't say, the women that love us. I'd knock a motherfucker out because I'm skilled with martial art. We ain't talking about shit.
Right.
Of value to our people.
Right. That's just like I was talking about health, how,
Right, exactly.
People reject it.
They even did that. And even as we're rapping, they were like, too black, too strong in the audience, which is rude. You're trying to shut us up. But I'm getting shook. I'm killing it, though. I'm still, killing it with but in my mind, I'm like, they fucking us up. And I was not comfortable. The only saving grace, because I was going to leave our group right then. The only saving grace was their manager. I said, oh, this is just entertainment. They're talking, it's not real, but I want to find the real shit. Their manager was trying to get in bed with me. I went to high school with her. She didn't recognize who I was. I recognized her. And I'm twisting my high school ring on my finger so she'll pay attention. She said, "You look so nervous." I said, "Well, I've never had a woman come at me this hard." She said, "Well, I know what I want. And I really want you to take me in the bathroom here." But
whoa.
But she said, "But I'm willing to wait. I'm willing to wait to take you home with me." And I said, okay, I'm going like this. And she looks at the ring. She said, hold on. She grabbed my hand. She said, "You went to Whitney Young?" I said, "Yes, I went to Whitney Young." Oh my God. I said, "Yeah."
So did you know her at Whitney Young?
Yeah, she was 2 years older. Tom's a year ahead. So she was 2 years older than me. So I knew exactly who she was. And then my name, my rap name was Quiz back then. She said, "What's your real name?" I gave her my government. And she, "Oh my God. Yeah, it's me." She said, "Well, can I get you to come home with me?" I said, "Nah, sister, that's not what I'm here for."
Yeah, that's terrible.
But then I said to myself, she represents them. They may believe what they were saying, but I said, but it's entertainment. It's cool to be conscious still with them, you know. So you had conscious rap on the rise, and they were right there with it.
Right.
But after that, you know, I started wearing the Africa pendant. I started changing my rap, and I actually left. And there was a rapper so we had the MOB and we had the Hitmen for the Mob, okay, which is another rap group. One of those members, he moved to Texas. He became part of Rap Rock Records. He was trying to get me to move to Texas, and I started thinking about it, but they were dead as hell. I mean, his rap name when he moved was Point Blank. I'll say his name. He had an album out, you know. Went to prison, got out. He wanted to hang out with me. But at that point, he was very, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but when you're throwing up a lot of symbols trying to represent Boule and all that kind of stuff, you believe in that shit and the power of it. I can't mess with you and have that around my family.
Right.
So I didn't, you know, that's the only reason I didn't deal with him in that level. But yeah, so Point Blank, if you look at his album, we're written on there, you know, I get, you know, my thanks to the MOB. I think he gave our names in there in his J card. But I got awakened by those dudes. Like, I want to do that kind of rap. So once I joined the Nation, I stepped away from my group. I still love them. They're still my boy, but we weren't rapping together. I couldn't rap that shit no more.
Right.
And changed my whole thing. And it was so crazy. I got on a television show, me and this other brother who was trying to represent himself like a pimp in rap. So he had these 3 sisters with him. They were fine, but they were his dancers, but after it was kind of like a pimp whole kind of energy you had with them.
Yes.
And so he's talking about, you know, we got to get that money. We got to do so-and-so. And they asked me what I think. And I'm just coming. This is my first television interview with some sense. I started speaking about our oppression and how we have to fight against oppression, how we have to carry and money should only be used to fund revolution, right? Now, I know you got to have some money to take care of your family and do certain things, but back then I was young as shit. I was like, you know, money, we need money to fund revolution, do so-and-so. And the person ends up almost only talking to me and then say, well, what do you think? To him, he said, what he said, you know, because he didn't have nothing to talk about. And I thought about myself like that was me just a year ago.
Right.
Right. So that's when even in martial art classes, I began to teach character also.
Right.
Martial artists talk about it. They talk about, you know, you don't just, if you don't have character, you're a brute. You're just a brute. But they ain't teaching you character, really. Not our African character. They're teaching you wax on, wax off character. But they're not teaching you to be an African. So you begin to become an Asian and black skin.
Right. That's that caught versus taught, you know?
Exactly. But what's our way, right? And so I started looking. It was martial arts and just learning politics, like beyond what I was learning in the Nation. I knew. So a lot of people think, okay, I'm a Muslim of any type, boy, and even in the Nation, I'm being African. Well, from learning African martial arts since I was 4, I knew that the Nation wasn't African, but it was black, and that was good for me, right? Mm-hmm. Because I was out there, I knew Africa, but I was talking about knocking other black folk out in my raps. I wasn't talking about knocking no white man out. I was talking about knocking other black folk out. Mm-hmm. So then that even changed the way I looked at martial arts. I started just seeing gray. And I teach y'all that.
Right.
Don't see a white person, don't see an Asian, don't see black, see gray, because you may have to defend yourself against anybody.
Yeah, bro.
Well, then that opened up for me. I don't just have to study the books of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I can study other books. So I picked up Destruction of Black Civilization by Chancellor Williams. But I realized, being in the nation, my thinking could only go so far. So when I read it, I saw it there. He's talking about Islam and what Islam has done to us. But I couldn't see it because I was in the nation.
Right.
That's no attack on the nation. That's just talking about what we believe in, what we see, what we feel affects how we read. That's why if you have a book, y'all, read it multiple times in your life, and I guarantee you're going to see other things in that book, because your politics change with your age.
That's the cognitive dissonance,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like you see,
so there are certain things, and even I've read other things, Message to the Black Man and stuff later on now in my life. Right? People say, I'm not reading that shit. It's by Elijah Muhammad. Well, that's up to you. But there's value in everything.
Absolutely.
When I read that book, or How to Eat to Live.
Right.
I'm looking at How to Eat to Live. Wow. I remember a brother telling me he said, hey, in How to Eat to Live, it says, we can drink alcohol. I said, no, it doesn't say that. Muslims, we cannot drink alcohol. He said, brother, it says there in the book. He gave me the page. This brother is smart. He got all the books by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad memorized. The subject, the pages in there. He even wrote a book as a guide to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's books. Well, he gave me the page and I read it. And if anybody here in the nation can prove me wrong on this, I don't know the page number. But it says in there, if we knew how to use alcohol, then we would recognize the benefits. So one brother says to me, well, that's talking about, the alcohol on your wounds. Or I said, this book is How to Eat to Live. How to Eat to Live. Now, a Sunni Muslim may disagree. That, no, we do not drink any intoxicants, blah, 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 blah. I'm just saying, as far as that book, I don't see that book as a treatise for Islam. I see it as a treatise on how to eat. It helped me how to eat, and the brother pointed out to me, it says how to eat to live, not what to eat to live. The most important part of that book was not turning your teeth into a shovel that digs your own grave, right? Yeah. So eating one meal a day was important, more important than what you ate. Don't put, and it's really not so much one meal. Don't do everything in moderation. Well, that's also in Ifa. That's Ifa says it's bit by bit we eat the head of the rat, right? It's not what you eat, because, and people say, well, and you ask a person, what does that mean? A person will say, well, that means, eat the rat slow because it's disgusting. No, no. The Yoruba eat rat heads as a snack, but you have to eat it slow because those small bones will get lodged in your throat. So it is bit by bit we eat the head of the rat lest we choke on it. So we do everything in measured steps. That's what it's telling you. Right. So these songs, even when I read certain things or certain protest songs, within those things, there are things talking about revolutionary violence in some of those songs, but we don't see it because we're not ready.
Right.
Our politics not there or whatever. So I was thinking about one of the songs you did when you said, well, this is definitely just a protest song. Which one was it?
Was it Mississippi Goddamn?
Well, yeah, and so that's what I was saying. In knowing Nina Simone's politics when it comes to moving slow to fight against oppression. When I read that, knowing that now, I saw it different. I saw it almost building up, slow. And saying, you know what we're doing slow? Whooping your ass.
Right. Yeah, boom.
That was hidden in there for me. Right. But that's because I studied her and then went back and listened to it again. Right. So make sure you always go back, study books again. Eugene Mason, The Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews. Yeah. So that wasn't written by the Elijah Muhammad. It's written by members of the Nation of Islam. I believe it's called the Nation NOI Research Society. One of my old teachers, Abdullah, was part of that society. Peace be upon him. He transitioned. They called him the Encyclopedia of the Nation of Islam. And he was the instructor for the ministry class of the Nation of Islam. And I was in his class, right? Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews is a great book, and now that you put that there, I know I got it in the box downstairs. I'm going to read it again. Now, since the last time I read that book, I was in my 20s. So I'm going to read, or maybe my 30s. So I'm going to read it again, early 30s. So I'm going to read that again this week.
Yeah. Great show, Baba.
Yeah, very, very much so. Thank you.
Congratulations on a great show.
Same to you. Yeah. So make sure you stick with us next week. Hopefully B-Lay will be with us. Not sure if he will be, but I'm hoping so. If he's still in North Carolina, we'll do the show probably online again. I mean, from home again, remotely. Right. But once he comes back, or if he's not back that third week, then we'll get together at my wife's shop and we'll do technique.
Yeah.
So keep coming with us. The show is going to get better.
Yeah, Bob, absolutely.
And we look forward to you all as we bring out the Patreon. We'll give you the information on that, and we'll have extended clips and things of that nature. So big respect to all of you all. Thank you, Eugene Mason. Always much respect, Warrior Class. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to have you all here. Yes, make sure you're out there. And if you all have songs, David Silberg was posting some in there. If you all can post them in the comments, I would love to look at more songs. Maybe, I'll find something that I haven't heard yet. So I look forward to it.
All right.
Y'all be safe out there. Stay black or whatever it is that you may be.
Absolutely.
Peace.
Much love, family.
See you same time next week.
Yeah, well, and tomorrow for African Spiritual Resistance.
Yeah. African Spiritual Resistance, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on Black Power Media. And join Black Power Media. Subscribe for all the great shows. And don't forget to mash that like button, y'all.
Peace. Yeah, bro. Peace.